Hello, good evening, children. Today we discuss about the eighth chapter, that is heredity. In this lesson, we discuss key points. First, look at the picture. Here, a term is there, that is variations. Variations means here we are finding different changes in the characters. Here, different colors in the eye and different shapes of ears. All these are called variations. Actually, variations means uh, differences in characters within a closely related groups of organisms. It is called variation. Variation means it's nothing but differences in characters within a closely related organisms. It is called variation. And in this lesson, we mainly discuss about the variations. Here, he is an important scientist. He is none other than John Gregor Mendel. He is actually the father of genetics. He performed so many experiments on heredity and inheritance. He is called father of genetics. And here, for his experiments, Mendel selected pea plants. Why he selected pea plants means because of due to all these following reasons. Here, pea plant, it possesses well-defined characters, and it possesses bisexual flowers, and predominantly self-fertilization occur in these plants and early hybridization. Due to all these characters, he selected pea plants for his experiments. And we already know Mendel selected pea plants for his experiments because Mendel identified mainly 7 pairs of contrasting characters in pea plants. He identified 7 pairs of contrasting characters in pea plants. They are mainly, he observed different flower colors in pea plants. Some plants they possess purple colored flowers, and some possess white colored flowers. And flower position, some flowers in some plants they are axial, and in some plants the flowers at the terminus. And seed color, some plants produce yellow colored seeds and some plants produce green colored seeds. And seed shape, in some plants the seed shape is round, and in some plants the seed shape is wrinkled. And pod shape, pod, in some plants it is inflated, and in some plants it is constricted. And pod color, in some plants it is in green color, and in some plants it is in yellow color. And stem length, in some plants are tall and some plants are dwarf. Like that, Mendel mainly identified 7 pairs of contrasting characters in the pea plants. Due to all these variations, Mendel selected pea plants for his experiments. He crossed these plants, different charactered plants, and here it is very very important, and this is called monohybrid cross. Mendel performed this experiment. Here, if we observe, here it is yellow colored seed, and this is green colored seed. The plant with yellow colored seeds, and this one the plant with green colored seeds. Mendel crossed these two plants, the plant with yellow colored seeds and the plant with green colored seeds. Here yellow colored seed, it's a character, and here green colored seed, it is another character. And here he selected only one character, that is seed color, so it is called monohybrid cross. Here here we are observing capital Y, and here small y. That means these capital Y, these two are factors. They are mainly responsible for the yellow color of the seed. And here small y, they are the factors. They are mainly responsible for the green color of the seed. Here capital Y, they are actually called genes. And small y, they are called genes. Always genes are present in pairs, not single. That means every character is defined by a pair of genes. Here yellow color of the seed, it is defined by capital Y, a pair of genes. Here green color, it is controlled by a pair of genes, that is small y. And here if we observe capital Y, same genes, same type of genes. Here if we observe small y, both are same. This type of genes, it is called homozygous. If the two genes controlling the character. If they are same, it is called homozygous. Here it is capital Y capital Y, so homozygous. Here it is small y, it is called homozygous. Homozygous means the genes responsible for a character, if they are same type, it is called homozygous. Here Mendel took two plants, one with yellow seeds and one with green seeds, and these plants, yellow colored seeds containing plant, it produces gametes containing this capital Y, and this plant produces gametes containing small y. We already discussed in reproduction lesson that all the body cells contain genes in pairs, but the gametes possess only one. This condition is called diploid. If two genes are present, that is called diploid. If one gene is present, that is haploid. Always gametes, they are in haploid condition. This plant produces capital Y and this plant produces small y. If cross happened between these two, capital Y and small y, here a seed arises with capital Y and small y. This generation is called F1 generation, first filial generation, that means first progeny. Here capital Y small y. Here the seed color is yellow. Why? Because here two genes are there, capital Y and small y. In these two genes, capital Y it is responsible for yellow color, small y it is responsible for green color, but only one character is exposing here, because in these two genes, when two genes are present, only dominant gene character is exposed. Here capital Y is there and small y is there. In these two genes, capital Y is dominant and small y is recessive, so only dominant character is exposed always when two genes are present. Then dominant character only is exposed and recessive character it is not exposed. Here capital Y small y, these are different types of genes. This condition is called heterozygous. Here it is called homozygous and here it is called heterozygous. This generation is called F1 generation. And next, this plant, it produces two types of gametes. One type of gametes they contain capital Y, and another type of gametes, they contain small y gene. Mendel again crossed this plant, F1 generation plant, with the same plant. That means capital Y small y with capital Y small y, like this. This is called, actually this is called Punnett square. And if Mendel crossed this plant, F1 generation plant, with the same type of plant, that means capital Y small y with capital Y small y, and this capital Y, here capital Y, capital Y small y, and small y capital Y, here it is, and small y, like this. This generation, here four plants are obtained. This generation is called F2 generation, second filial generation. Here if we observe, here it is capital Y, that means the seeds in these plants are yellow in color, and here capital Y small y. Here two genes are different, but here dominant gene capital Y is present, so the seed color is yellow, and here capital Y small y. Here also the two genes are different, but capital Y is their dominant character, so the seed color is yellow. And here small y, here no dominant gene and the two genes are small y, so the seed in green color. Like that, four plants they are formed in the F2 generation. So four plants obtained here, and if we observe carefully, here yellow plants in the F2 generation, here yellow plants they are obtained, three plants here, 1 2 3, and green plants only one plant, three plants with yellow seeds and one plant with green colored seeds. This is called phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio of monohybrid cross is 3:1. This is very important. Phenotypic ratio means whenever we see the plant with our eyes, it is visible. That is called phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio means visible characters. They are visible to our eyes. That's called phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio is 3:1. That means in the F2 generation, three plants with yellow seeds and one plant with green seeds. Here it is genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio means here if we observe the genes, first one capital Y, it is one plant, and capital Y, small y, it is two plants, and small y, it is one plant. So if we observe the genes, that is called genotypic ratio. It is 1:2:1. One plant with capital Y, two plants with capital Y, and one plant with small y. This is called genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross. This is 1:2:1. So this is very, very important. Phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. This is called monohybrid cross performed by Mendel. This is very, very important. And here another one. This is called dihybrid cross. It was also performed by Mendel. In this experiment, Mendel taken only one character, that is seed color, and in the dihybrid cross, Mendel selected two characters. One is seed color and second one is seed shape. Dihybrid cross means here Mendel crossed two plants with two different characters. Here one plant with yellow colored seed, and the seed is in round shape, and Mendel crossed this plant with green colored seed and wrinkled seed. Here Mendel crossing plants with two different characters, yellow and round and green and wrinkled. The gametes, this type of gametes are formed from this plant, and this type of gametes are formed from this plant. Here it is capital Y, capital R, and here it is small y, small r. I already told in the cells, in the plant, genes are present in pairs, but in gametes only one gene is present. Here capital Y, capital R, but in gametes capital Y, capital R. Here small y, small r. Here it is small y, small r. When he crossed these two plants with two different characters, this type of plant is formed in F1 generation, first generation, capital Y and capital R, small r. Here if we observe this seed, it is round in shape and it is in yellow colored. So why it is in yellow color and why it is round means, here capital Y is there, it is a dominant character, and small y is recessive. Here it is capital R, it is a dominant character. Round is the dominant character and the small r, it is a recessive character. So whenever two genes are there, only dominant gene character is exposed. Here capital Y is dominant and capital R is dominant. So that character only exposed, and small y, small r, their characters are not exposed. And next, Mendel crossed this F1 generation plant with the same plant. Mendel crossed F1 generation plant, this capital Y, capital R, small r plant with the same plant, and this is Punnett square. And here he crossed this. The gametes are formed like this: capital Y, small r, and small y, capital R, and small y, small r. He crossed these gametes with the same type of gametes: capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small r, small y, capital R, small y, small r. It means here Mendel crossed F1 generation plant with the same type of plant. Here four types of gametes are forming: capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small r, and small y, capital R, and small y, small r, like that. Here a total of 16 plants formed by the end of F2 generation. Here it is capital Y, capital R, and capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, and here it is capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small r, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, small r, small r, and here it is capital Y, small y, capital R, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, small y, small y, capital R, small y, small y, capital R, small r, and here it is capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, small r, small r, small y, small y, capital R, small r, small y, small y, small r, small r, like that. 16 plants are formed. Here if we observe the characters, if capital Y is present, that seed is in yellow color. If capital R is present, that seed is in round shape. So because they are dominant characters. Whenever they are present, they only exposed, and the recessive characters they get suppressed. Here if we observe yellow and round, they are actually 9 out of 16. If you observe here, yellow colored and round shaped seeds are 9 out of 16, and if you observe green and round seeds, they are 3 out of 16, and if you observe yellow and wrinkled, they are 3 out of 16, and if you observe green and wrinkled, it is 1 out of 16. Here the ratio is 9:3:3:1. F2 ratio of dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1. This is called dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross means here Mendel crossed the plants with the two different characters. One is seed color and seed shape. After performing all these experiments, basing on all these experiments, he proposed mainly three laws. One law is law of dominance. Law of dominance means every character is controlled by a set of genes, and in this set of genes, only the dominant gene character is exposed and the recessive gene character is suppressed. This is called law of dominance. And the second one is law of segregation. Law of segregation, that means here two genes are present for every character. Here capital Y, it is for yellow color, and capital R, it is for round shape. And when the two genes are present, only one gene is taken as random. So this is called law of segregation. That means if here two genes are present and one gene only come into the gametes randomly without any special interest, that is called law of segregation. And third law is law of independent assortment. Law of independent assortment means here two characters are there, yellow color and round shape, here green color and wrinkled shape, and if two characters are there, one character does not influence the other character. Here yellow color of the seed does not influence shape of the seed. That is called law of independent assortment. That's why here yellow round and green round, yellow wrinkled and green wrinkled, all these characters are possible, because here yellow color does not influencing the shape of the seed. Like that, shape of the seed, it does not influencing the color of the seed. That means one character never influence another character. That is called one gene, set of genes responsible for a character, they never influence another set of genes responsible for another character. That is called law of independent assortment. Like that, Mendel proposed three laws: law of dominance, law of segregation, and law of independent assortment. And here it is sex determination in human beings. Here father is here mother, and we all know that human beings possess 46 chromosomes in each and every cell of our body. In each and every cell of our body, we possess 46 chromosomes. In that 46 chromosomes, 44 chromosomes, they are common in males and females, and the 2 chromosomes in males they are XY, and in females they are XX. These are called sex chromosomes. And males produce, we all know that males produce sperms and females produce ova, and males produce mainly two types of sperms. One type of sperms they possess X chromosome, and another type of sperms they possess Y chromosome. So males produce mainly two types of sperms, one with X chromosome and another with Y chromosome, and females always they release same type of eggs, same type of ova, because they possess their sex chromosomes are both are X, so they possess single type of eggs, they release single type of eggs. So whenever this X and this X, these two fertilize, then baby girl, and whenever this Y chromosome it combines with X, then the offsprings would be a boy. And this X, when it fertilized with X, here baby girl. When this X it fertilized with boy, then the sex is baby boy. So if X joins with X, then a girl child. If Y joins with X, then boy child. So this is the sex determination in human beings. Here it is like this, very very simple. If X it combines with X, if X it combines with X, then female child. If X it combines with Y, here it is XY, male child. So sex determination happen like this in human beings. That means males possess XY chromosomes, females possess XX chromosomes. If X chromosome combines with X chromosome, a female. If Y chromosome combines with X chromosome, male child. Like that, females does not play any role in the determination of sex. Only male is responsible for sex determination. Male is responsible for sex determination in human beings. This is about sex determination in human beings. Here a small picture is there. This is about variations in population. The first one it represents natural selection. Actually, all these pictures, they are responsible for evolution. They are responsible for variations. These variations are carried out in the next generation. That is called heredity, and transfer of characters from parents to progeny, from parents to children. It is called inheritance. Here small insects are there, and these insects are taken as food by crows, and due to genetic variation, due to changes in the genes, here one insect it turns into green color, and this green colored insect, actually these insects they live on leaves of plants. Actually these red colored insects, they are easily identified by the crows, and this green colored, as the leaf color is green, it is not easily visible to the crows. So gradually green colored insects population increases, and the red colored insects population decreases slowly as we observe. Finally only green colored small worms, small insects, they only survive, and the red colored one they disappear. Actually what is going on here is, here natural selection is taking place. That means nature always selects the organisms with better characters. Here nature selects green colored one, because green colored one they actually mixes up with the leaves, and they are not identified by the crows. So this is natural selection. And the second example here, these insects are there, and due to genetic modification, one insect turns into blue color, not to green color. Here it is turns into blue color. Actually this blue color, this is not useful to that one, because blue color and red color both are visible, both are identified by the crows. And here population somewhat increase, and if an elephant is going in that route, and if by chance elephant it places if its foot on the leaf, and the red colored insects, if all they are died, only blue colored ones they survive, and their population increases. This condition is called genetic drift. Actually this is assumption. It may happen or may not happen, and this condition is called genetic drift. It may happen by chance. If elephant comes in that route, and if elephant places its foot on that red colored insects, then only blue colored insects survive. This is called genetic drift. And the third case, here insects are there, and if disease occur to the plant, actually these insects are they are growing on leaves of the plant. If disease occur to the plant, all the leaves shed off, then these insects they do not get food. So due to starvation, their body size decreases, and they become like this. And whenever the plant recover, new leaves are formed, then again after some time the insects becomes like this. So these three are the different cases of variations that occur in a population: natural selection, genetic drift, and this one. And here is another scientist here, John Baptist Lamarck. He proposed a law that is inheritance of acquired characters. Inheritance of acquired characters means he observed giraffe. He assumed that actually giraffe it takes leaves of the plants. When the food at the bottom is not available to the giraffe, it stretch its neck to the higher branches of the plant. By doing like that, so many generation, the neck of the giraffe becomes like that. It's a Lamarck's assumption, and he proposed inheritance of acquired characters. That means that character it is transferred to the next generation. That is called inheritance of acquired characters. But later on, a scientist, August Weismann, he proved that it is not possible. Actually, he cut the tails of the rats 22 times, but in each generation, the new rats are formed with tails. So he proved that this inheritance of acquired characters it is not possible. But Lamarck proposed a theory called inheritance of acquired characters. And here he is a great scientist, Charles Darwin. He wrote a famous book that is Origin of Species. He proposed a theory called natural selection, and nature always selects the organisms with better characters. That is called natural selection. And he actually he had done all his observations, his experiments in an island that is Galapagos Island, and he had done his experiments on finch birds. He observed that all are finch birds, but their beaks are different. The changes in their beaks, the differences in their beaks, because of their food habits. These changes are carried out to the next generation. So this leads to variations. This leads to the formation of new species. By this observation, he wrote Origin of Species. So like that, new species will be formed according to Darwin. Here, all these are homologous organs. Homologous organs means structure, internal structure is similar, but their function is different. Here it is man's hand, and cheetah 4 limbs, and whales fins, and this is bat's wing. All these internal structure is same, but the functions of these organs are different. This type of organs are called homologous organs, and this type of evolution is called divergent evolution. And this one, convergent evolution. Convergent evolution means here organs are there. Bat, these are called patagia, bat wings, and here birds wings. All these structures, their internal structure is different, but their functions it is similar. That means function is similar, but their internal structure is different. This type of evolution is called convergent evolution, and this type of organs are called analogous organs. These are homologous organs, and this evolution is called divergent evolution, and these are called analogous organs, and this type of evolution is called convergent evolution. Convergent evolution means, and here analogous organs means function is similar but structure is different. Here homologous organs means structure is similar but function is different. And if we observe the embryos, these are the embryos of different organisms: fish, salamander, tortoise, chick, pig, calf, rabbit, and human beings. If we observe the initial stages of the embryos, all the embryos, they are very similar. They resemble each other. It indicates all these organisms they evolve from common ancestor. And here these are fossils. Actually, study of fossils is called paleontology, and these fossils their age can be determined by a method called carbon dating method. A carbon dating method means by using radioactive isotopes, scientists found the age of fossil, and these fossils are they're actually once lived organism. They may or may not exist now. Their signs or their footprints or their skeletons are called fossils. uh, these are the evidences for the evolutionary process, and study of fossils is called paleontology. And the age of fossils, it can be determined by carbon dating method. And here it is a fossil. Actually, it is present in the BM Birla Science Center in Hyderabad. It was found in Adilabad district in a village named Yamanapalli, and its name is Catasaurus. It's also fossil. And here it is Archaeopteryx. If you observe this Archaeopteryx, it possesses both the characters of reptiles and birds. It is looking like a bird and possesses some characters of reptiles. So it is called connecting link between the reptiles and aves. That means connecting link between the reptiles and birds. This Archaeopteryx. And here it is human evolution, how evolution of human beings takes place, like that. This lesson is also very important. So read this lesson, and good luck.